we can express our power in many, many, many ways. First of all, forget consequences. I'm infinite consciousness. I don't think, oh, well, if I try to do something, what will happen to me? I'm infinite consciousness. Ethel Jones is asking what will happen if I do what I believe to be right. I'm infinite consciousness. I just do what I believe to be right. I don't have to think about consequences. Freedom doesn't do consequences, or it's not free, does it? Absolutely. Oh, I'm freedom, but I'll be free if I know what the consequences are. I am freedom. I am free. No thought of consequences. So let's get out of this. Oh, what will happen if I express my power? What will happen if I do what I believe to be right? Because this world will change, Ross, massively in a short space of time when one thing happens. When people start doing en masse what they know to be right, rather than the usual, every day, every second form of decision-making, what's right for me in this situation, right? That's why we have people dying of starvation in a world of plenty. That's why we have people in sweatshops making clothes for the rich. It's because it's not my problem. When we do what we know to be right, all the time, everything changes, because injustice goes, imposition goes. Someone else who has their free expression taken away is denying me my freedom of expression. So his problem is my problem, and so I'm over there because his problem says something about me. For instance, if there's one person on this planet who does not have the right to free expression and express their views, then no one on the planet has the right to free expression, because what they call free expression will not actually be so. It will be what is acceptable within the bounds that are not acceptable, what this guy's saying. So you keep in these bounds, and then you have free expression. Nonsense. We only have free expression when he has free expression. So instead of saying, well, it's not my problem, I don't agree with him anyway, we stand up for each other and make sure that everyone has the right to be free. But we've got to stop being spectators. You know, we've got to stop standing on the other side of the street, even those who are in some awareness now of the game, going, oh, look, that's interesting. What do you think is going to happen now? Well, I looked at this and I read that book and it said this, so I think he could do that now. Hold on a second. We're not watching a movie and watching it of, oh, look, yes, we are in a global prison now. Yeah, they said that would happen. We've got to now cross the street and start saying, we're not having it. We're not standing for this enslavement anymore, and come together in a united way, and in a way where we forget about consequences and start doing what we know to be right. For this reason, I've said this before, but it's important. We've reached the point now where we're going to have to look our grandchildren and our children in the eye pretty soon when they ask us what we were doing when the global fascist state, which by then will control every area of their lives, including their thoughts, what we were doing when that was coming in. And there's going to be, at this time, a lot of people averting their eyes when they try to give an answer to that. We can still not have to answer that question if we stop talking about it, stop thinking we can't do anything about it, which is a great excuse not to do anything, and start to say at the end of every day, what have I done today to make a difference to human freedom, my freedom, the freedom of everyone else, and the freedom of our kids and grandkids? Because if you look at society now, and the point we've reached with this Orwellian unfolding of surveillance and control and centralization of power, what the hell is it going to be like for 10 years from now? 20 years from now, right? And we are very, very important people, our generations alive today, for this reason. We come into a world as children, and the world is as it appears to be, right? So that's the norm to you. We at the moment, Ross, are the last generations who were born at a time when there was some kind of freedom, who are going to therefore have that coordinate of what it was like compared with what it's now becoming very fast. Children being born today won't have that coordinate. No. To them, control, surveillance, imposition, centralization of power will be the norm. That's how life is here. So we are the generations that have got to do something about this. Now, and we have the power to do it. It's the will that we need. I met a CIA scientist in 1997 who approached me through a third party because he wanted to tell me information that he couldn't get out but he thought was vital. This guy, when I met him, joined the CIA as a scientist in his 20s. He was a genius in the area of magnetics. He thought he was serving his country. He soon realized that what we've been talking tonight was happening. So he rebelled. He refused to work for them. He wakes up one day, he goes out one day during this rebellion, and he has missing time. He wakes up on a medical type bench, and as he gets his faculties back, he realizes there's like a shampoo sachet, see-through shampoo sachet on his chest with an orangey golden liquid inside. They call them patches in the CIA. Someone's been patched. What they'd done was manipulated his body to need the drug in this patch to survive, or he starts to die. And they have to replace the patch every 72 hours, and if he doesn't come back and work for them, use his genius, the patch is not removed and he starts to die, and he's got kids and a family and he doesn't want to do that. So he talked to me to try to get this information out, and one of the things he said to me, he said, tell people that if they say no to just one thing, say no to the microchip. Because it's not just about electronic tagging, though it is about that. People, every computer knowing where you are and all the rest of it. It's also about the fact that once you have a microchip inside you, they can externally manipulate you in terms of your physical health and your mental and emotional state. They can isolate you individually, or they can do it en masse, creating hysteria or creating docility and subordinate behavior. And so that's what the microchip's really about. And this thing about ID cards, totalitarian tiptoe, it's the tiptoe to the microchip. Chipping domestic animals is to get us used to chipping. Chipping clothing now is all part of bringing this chipping in. We have to say no to the microchip. But let me say this too. The power of consciousness, open, aware consciousness, has the power to overcome any technology and any imposition. It's the body computer that is subjected to it and is manipulated by it. And so if we allow ourselves to become aware or have an identity that the body is us, our point of observation moves to the 5 sense level. We enter the realm where this stuff can control us. When we move our point of observation and we are consciousness having the experience, they cannot get to those vibrational levels. They can only manipulate the receiver transmitter. They cannot get to consciousness in its true sense because it's vibrating too quickly for them. They can't get out there. And so the very foundation of everything, Ross, what can I do, everything, is we must become conscious. Because vast numbers, the vast majority of people still in the world, though it's changing rapidly, are still not conscious. They are being controlled in their perceptions by the programmed body computer. And that's why so many people are the same, and they react the same, and they think the same. Because the computer is just reacting to input and therefore reacting to program. Once you move your consciousness, you become a maverick. You become someone who expresses uniqueness, who sees multiple things that the computer level can't see, including a way out of this. Because in the end, we can do all the things that I'm talking about. But in the end, what this world is like the projection of a movie on the screen. You want to change a movie, it's no good standing and shouting at the screen for the movie to change, because that's just a projection. It's just going to play out. We've got to get back to the projector and change the reel, because then the movie must change, because it's just a projection. And therefore, we must change what is projecting the movie. In other words, creating our daily experience. On an individual level, we are, by our, the way we decode reality and how open in terms of consciousness we are, and collectively, somewhere beyond visible light, outside of this conscious awareness frequency range, there is a projection of this holographic internet which we're decoding, the collective reality. We got to get to that and change it. And I tell you what, I'm going to get to that before I leave this reality.